So one thing that can help with these sort of questions, when it comes to questions about truth and reality, is to remind ourselves what the purpose of the teachings are. So the purpose of the teachings isn't to be non-dual, even though this is called a non-duality meeting, I guess. Is not even necessarily to find something that's super true. Although we'll find that in coming across that which is true will also meet our goal. All right, the aim of the teachings is to remove suffering. That's what we're seeking for. Most people seeking to end suffering. And teachings are to end that, end the suffering. The suffering is due to believing in a me. And it just so happens that me is not real. It just is that's the interpretation of what is presented to us in our experience. An interpretation of our experience is there's a me over here, let's say, that is aware of something out there. That's an interpretation of the experience. And if we just look at the experience, there's just everything happening. The idea of there being a subject me, a body-mind subject, is so deeply ingrained into the patterns of thought. As soon as you wake up in the morning, it's there. I'm here. There's this idea of a me. Now in the scriptures, they say, what's the cause of this? They say that this is untrue, this is ignorance. What's the cause of ignorance? Well, the scriptures phrase it in a very clever way. In the Vedanta scriptures, they say the cause of ignorance is the lack of enquiry. Means you haven't investigated properly. And that's why you think there's a me. So it's because you haven't looked properly. You haven't noticed what's going on properly. Imagine you're eating a dinner and you're eating, I don't know, let's say you're eating something, there's some potatoes in the meal. And someone you're eating dinner with says, oh, how many potatoes have you got on your plate? And say you've got 4 potatoes on your plate. And then but you say I've got 5. You made a mistake. Yeah, there are actually 4 potatoes on your plate. You said you've got 5. What's the cause of your mistake? Lack of investigation. Lack of inquiry. You haven't looked properly. So you interpret the situation you're in wrongly. And in this instance, no great calamity results because you've just mistaken the number of potatoes on your plate. No big deal. And the person you're having dinner with says, oh no, you've only got 4 potatoes, you haven't got 5, look. And you go through it together and you count. Oh yeah, you're right. And that person helps you through, you both look at the situation. But if actually I made a mistake, I only got 4 potatoes. Again, no big deal, it's just potatoes on a plate, who cares? It's the same kind of thing with this. We think there's a me and a not me. What's the cause for that mistake we've made? Just haven't looked properly. Now what you can do, you can think about what kind of qualities in a person would allow them to see more clearly. And what kind of qualities in a person, say, in a person would allow them to not see so clearly? And when I say see, I'm not talking about a visual seeing. I'm talking about looking at your life experience or your experience of living. You can see there's certain qualities that would be useful to a seeker, like a relatively clear mind. If you're thinking about all these things all the time, if you're constantly distracted by things, again, let's bring back our slightly strange potatoes on a plate analogy. If you're constantly distracted by thoughts of things going around you, there's clatter over there, you're thinking about this, thinking about that, you can't really focus on your plate. And you can't really count how many potatoes there are because you're constantly distracted by things. So one quality that can be useful to you is to have a relatively clear mind. Another thing is the ability to look or to listen. If you're very impatient, you don't have the patience to even look, to inquire. And there are a few other qualities that are very helpful on this journey. Parent journey. Traditionally, these are called the qualifications. In Vedanta, they're called the qualifications. There are 4 of them. And we can go through them maybe at some point.